Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2016 12-inch MacBook in rose gold. This particular model has the Intel Core M5 processor with turbo boost up to 2.7 gigahertz, and for the storage it has a 512 gigabyte PCIe based flash storage, which is extremely fast. The laptop has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, and for the GPU, the MacBook has an integrated Intel HD Graphics 515 chip. The MacBook only comes with one port, USB-C, but if you're stuck with only one port, this is the one to be stuck with, since it can do display, data, and power all through that single port. And on the other side of the MacBook, you have a headphone jack and a dual microphone. And if you want to do all three of those, display, data, and power, you're going to need an adapter like this. This is Apple's adapter they make. It's $80 and it just plugs right in. You can do power and display and data with the normal USB 3.0 here. Alright, and this thing is extremely portable. It only weighs around 2 pounds, so if you're someone that's always on the go and traveling a lot, this is for you. It's nearly as portable as an iPad. At its thickest point, it's only 0.52 inches thick. Alright, for the screen, Apple used a Retina display. It has a resolution of 2304 by 1440, which is great. If you compare that to other MacBooks, such as the MacBook Air, which is also very portable, it's a favorite. The MacBook Air only has a 1440 by 900 screen, and it's a TN panel, so your viewing angles aren't very good, and the display just does not look that great. It just doesn't pop like this one does. And for the keyboard, Apple went with their butterfly keys, so there's not a whole lot of key travel, but the keys are bigger than on the other keyboards, and the reduced key travel also allows Apple to put a bigger battery into the MacBook. Alright, now I'm going to do a startup test. Turn it on, see how long it takes. And it's booting up extremely fast. It's halfway done. Oh, and there it is. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys the performance of the SSD. I'm using a disk speed test called Blackmagic. Alright, start it. For the write, we're getting around 840. For the read, we're getting almost 930 megabytes a second, so that's just incredible. That's a lot faster than a lot of SSDs that are in laptops, and that's because this MacBook uses a PCIe based flash storage instead of the normal SATA 3 connection that's used for most SSDs on the market. Alright, this particular MacBook comes equipped with the Force Touch trackpad. It's also fairly large for such a small laptop. And the benefits of the Force Touch trackpad is that it delivers a uniform click no matter where you press that on here. So you can press anywhere on the trackpad and you'll get a uniform click. And it also is capable of detecting how much pressure you're applying. An example of this is if you want the definition of a word, you could just press harder on it, do a force click, and it'll give you the definition. And you can also get a preview window for a link. So you force touch on this, force click, and it gives you a preview window, and you can get right out of it like that. Alright, so here is some Left 4 Dead 2 gameplay on the 12-inch MacBook. And I'm going to go to the options in the video settings. And I'm going to run it at 2304 by 1440, which is Retina. And then most of the settings are on medium. Okay, and then play on single player. We're going to do streets. Start the game. Alright, so here it is running at Retina resolution with medium settings. So you can see it's playable, but it runs high 20s, low 30s frame rate probably. Definitely playable, but not the smoothest experience. I'm surprised it even runs this well. Such a small, thin device without a fan. But it is definitely playable at Retina resolution. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys some gameplay at 720p resolution, also with medium settings. I'm going to be playing on the same level as the last one at Retina. So get into some gameplay. So automatically you can tell the gameplay is much smoother. It's probably running closer to 50 or 60 frames a second now. Not any lag or any major frame drops. Alright, grab the shotgun. Alright, as you can see, when I go out here and start shooting the zombies, it stays smooth, even with all the action going on the screen. Alright, I'm also going to show you guys, give you guys a size comparison between the 12-inch MacBook and the iPad Pro. So here's the 12-inch MacBook. Next to it, put the Pro. You can see just how small the MacBook is compared to the iPad. They set this here on top, the corner. There's quite a bit of overhang. Okay. Now this is the iPad Pro, actually with the smart keyboard connected, which is a fabric keyboard that Apple released. Came out the iPad. You can see side by side here just how big of a difference there is between the two. They're actually quite close. The MacBook has a 12-inch screen and the iPad has a 12.9-inch screen. But the iPad is an iOS device and the MacBook runs a full desktop operating system, so there are quite a few benefits of having an actual desktop OS over a mobile one such as iOS. So I've been using this MacBook for a little over a week now, and I've quite a few thoughts on it, so I figured I'd give you the pros and the cons. So we're going to start with the pros, and the first one I have is portability. I absolutely love how thin and light this laptop is. Whenever you slip it into a bag, you barely realize you're even carrying it, because of how light it is. It's on almost any surface, so if you took this laptop on a flight, you could sit on the little pull-down table and use it without a problem. While if you took a bigger MacBook, such as a 15-inch, it just would not fit and it would be way too big and cumbersome to use. Also, I really enjoy the keyboard. Lots of reviewers have complained about the keyboard. I've actually enjoyed typing on it. At first it was a little awkward, but after a day or two I got used to it. And before I received this MacBook, I was using the iPad Pro as my daily driver. And with the iPad I had the smart keyboard, and on the keyboard you have it's made out of fabric, and I consider the MacBook keyboard to be far superior than the one on the iPad Pro with the smart keyboard. Also, the backlighting on this MacBook is really great. Each individual key is backlit, so it looks quite nice in the dark. The speakers on this thing are really loud. Before I got it, I kept my expectations pretty low because I knew that this device was quite thin and portable, so I didn't expect much out of it. But once I cranked them up, I was not disappointed. Actually, they seem to be almost as loud as the iPad Pro speakers, which is quite impressive considering Apple really advertised the iPad's speakers. Performance is quite good on this thing, even though it only has a Core M processor. I was able to run games such as Left 4 Dead 2 and Civilization 5 at 720p at medium settings, and they were playable. I haven't had any slowdowns while switching between apps or using Safari with multiple tabs in the background. So don't let the Core M scare you away, because it is definitely a very competent chip. Battery life on this MacBook is pretty impressive. I was able to get around 5 to 6 hours of moderate use out of it, which is quite good compared to most other laptops. A lot of laptops advertise battery life higher than that, but actual usage is much lower. So this thing was impressive. And for video playback, you probably get around 9 hours of use if you get the screen brightness around 50%. Alright, now I do have some cons about this laptop. The first major con is heat. This thing does run quite hot, especially where the logic board is. And it only gets hot after extended usage. If you're using it at a desk, you really won't notice the high temperatures, but if you have it sitting on your lap and you've been using it for a while, it can get uncomfortable to use. The other night, for example, I was watching a Twitch stream, and the bottom of this thing got really hot, and it was just making my whole body warm up. The other thing I don't like, I feel like Apple could improve on, is the single port. It wouldn't be such a hassle if Apple would have included another port on it, another USB-C port. That way you could charge the device and run a monitor at the same time without having to buy an $80 adapter. So taking both the pros and cons into consideration, I'd probably give this device an 8 out of 10. The pros are it's quite portable, has a nice keyboard, the performance is good even though it has a Core M, but the cons are the heat and the single port.